Hello, 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 and welcome to Cellar Chats. We're coming at you live. That's right, live. We changed it up again. We're keeping you on your toes. We're doing this live because, well, it's kind of fun that way. And then you guys get to see the things that I would have cut out of the videos before. That's not true. I filmed them just the same. It is Tuesday, and we are talking about the Cellar Chats. We're talking about weekly wine flights at Second Glass. I hope you know that since you're on Second Glass's page, and that would be why you're watching this video. And we are going Italian sippers, which we all know I love. So this week, we're going to take a little journey to Sardinia. We're going to start out with Argiolas, their Vermentino di Sardegna, Costamolino. We're going to journey on back up to Piedmont, where we're going to end our whole journey. We're going to start in the Alto Piemonte with Ioppa and their Nebbiolo Rosato, which I love dearly, and finish with a little Barbaresco. It's Nebbiolo again here done in Barbaresco. Maybe not something that you jump to in the middle of summertime, but Barbaresco, I think, as opposed to Barolo, which is also excellent, has a tendency to maybe go a little better with those summer grilled foods and a little more freshness. So let's get this started. Again, first wine, Argiolas, their Vermentino di Sardegna. So for those of you not familiar, Sardinia, it's an island off the coast of Italy. It is the second largest island in the Mediterranean, if I'm not mistaken. I think Sicily is the largest, and then it's Sardinia, and then I think either Corsica or the island of Crete. One of the two is like the third. Anyways, neither here nor there. It is really a place that is all its own, yet still harkens to Italy and has some Italian roots. Granted, a lot of the grape varieties here are, I'll just call them Mediterranean grapes. They don't really have a claim anywhere specifically. You see a lot of Grenache, or in the area called Cannonau, which some people argue maybe came from Sardinia. The Spanish would like to say it came from them. The French might say it comes from them. I think it's more likely it's Spanish or it comes from Sardinia. But what do I know? I am not a grape scientist or scholar. But we are not talking about Cannonau or Grenache. We are talking about Vermentino, one of my personal favorite white wine grapes, one that I think really is at the cusp of becoming the next great white wine. Part of me hopes not, because then the wines won't get too expensive and I can still afford them. But part of me hopes that it does, because I think that it doesn't get as much attention as it should. It's salty, it's crisp, it's fresh. They're so good in the summertime. They're wonderfully textured. They're great with foods. So jumping into it, Argiolas would be arguably probably the most famous, most well-known, most distributed, and easily found producer from Sardinia. Now, granted, it is a fairly large island, and there are a lot of producers on this island. Not a lot of them are exported, and it's not one that people talk about all that often. I mean, in my 15 years of doing this, 10 years of being, fully focused on wine, I bet I've had maybe 6 producers from Sardinia. Now, that is a very, small snippet that is based mostly in North Carolina. There are obviously more producers available in bigger markets, aka New York City, but neither here nor there. Argiolas, again, well recognized. They really have become probably one of the most important producers that really has brought attention to the island of Sardinia, and they make a wide range of wines. Their Costa Molina is kind of like their entry level. It's a line of wines I do believe they make. I'm trying to remember. I have their list up here. They have a couple of wines that fall within like this kind of level of bottlings. Their Costa Molina Vermentino is probably the one that's most famous, probably the one you've seen, likely on a wine list or in a retail shop. And it has, wow, it's been a while since I had this. I mean, for those of you who like New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc or like that really intense, like citrusy characteristic, you guys need to jump on board with this, because right off the bat, This is like pink grapefruit skin, pink grapefruit citrus. Oh, wow. Lots of minerality. Really crisp and clean. That is really good. It's been a long time since I've tasted this, but hats off to you guys. The wine is still excellent. It does all the things you need it to. I mean, it is Tuesday. Remember, Second Glass is closed today, but they will be open tomorrow when you can start digging into these wine flights. And today, maybe not the best day. It's currently raining outside, although it's really beautiful. I want to be sitting outside drinking this, with a little nibbles, some cheese, or, I don't know. Whatever sounds good. Okay, again, as I show you the bottle for the 18th time, Argiolas, their Vermentino di Sardegna, the Costa Molina bottling. That is the 2020 vintage. All right, we're heading back to the mainland. And we're going up to Piedmont, all the way to Alto Piemonte, basically the Swiss border. If you Google this winery, you can look at pictures out the back door of the winery facility, and you are looking at the Swiss mountains. Their Rosato, 100% Nebbiolo. How should I put this? Not a grape variety or style that I think people think of when they are thinking, hey, I really want to get a delicious rosé, but they need to. Ever since the first time I tasted this wine, I have had like a love affair. It is so delicious, so refreshing. All the things that you could ever want from rosé. Plus, it's from Italy, which, I'm always excited to support and drink more Italian wines. I mean, look at this beautiful color. It's got a little bit of like a salmon, slightly orange hue to it. The nose is like white raspberries, really wild freshness, a little bit of herbaceousness. Oh, and the one thing that this wine does that I think you would... So for those of you who are not super familiar with Nebbiolo. Nebbiolo is the grape of Piedmont. It is known for making structured, tannic, really long-lived, ageable, beautiful, elegant wines that are kind of this contradiction of themselves. They have lots of tannins, they have a lot of power and structure, but at the same time, they're light, they're graceful, they're full of like floral aromatics. And then, if you take all of that characteristic and you say, I'm going to make a rosé, but it doesn't really sound like it's going to make a great rosé. But here, it makes this saline mineral. It's my favorite thing. I think if we just go back through all the videos that I've done, I'd probably say saline or mineral 15 times a video. Kind of fresh orange peel, citrusy, lively rosé that I personally just can't get enough of. So, great texture, lingers on the palate for a long... It's such a good, counterpart to the Vermentino. Or that Vermentino was very high-toned, bright citrus. This is a little softer, more red berries, more it's not sweet, but sweeter, orange peel or orange citrus. Kind of the difference between, again, bright, tart grapefruit lemon and orange or mandarin that just seems a little softer. This is all the things I need and want. It is so, so good. I really hope people come and do this flight. I mean, the first two wines are knockouts. They're delicious. Again, that was Ioppa, their Rusin 2021 Rosato from Nebbiolo. All right, finishing on a high note here. Not that those were low notes. Baio. This is their 2019 Barbaresco Autinbej. So, this is a producer that arguably I think is probably one of the most affordable, most accessible, and deliciously drinking Barbaresco producers that I'm aware of. The wines are wildly affordable as far as price point goes. Style and structure is all the things you want from good Piedmont Nebbiolos. And it's an amazing family on top of it all, so that helps. So their Autinbej is their entry-level bottling. Now, most people will go, oh, Barbaresco and Nebbiolo. Well, I probably need to decant it, or I need to wait 10 years to drink it. Generally speaking, yes. But this is a bottling that despite being made very traditionally, there's no new oak here, there's no barriques, none of that kind of thing. They do use temperature controls and stainless steel for fermentations, but they classically age, long skin macerations. All the buzzwords, hipster tricks, hipster terms that you want to hear if you're talking about classic traditional Piemontese wine. But in Barbaresco as a whole, there tends to be a little bit more freshness, a little bit more lightness to the wines that kind of lends itself to earlier drinking than Barolo as a whole. This shirt's great. This top button comes undone all the time. So if you ever see me wearing this and it pops open, I'm not trying to rock my Miami Vice. It's just the shirt comes unbuttoned. I should fix it, but I haven't. Back to wine. Sorry. But with Barbaresco as a whole, like I was saying, is they tend to have more freshness, more lightness. They're a little more delicate. They're kind of easier to get into early on. Whereas a Barolo, yes, there are great versions that you can get into upon release, and they're absolutely delicious, especially as climate change has its effect. But they still have a little more depth, a little more tannic structure. I feel like the tannins in Barbaresco are just a little softer, a little lighter, and easier to enjoy. Now, for me, the Autinbej, I wanted a little chilled. If I were coming in here to second glass, which you should be coming in, grab this flight, have a few bites, finish with, I'm assuming they still have it on the menu. I haven't looked. Bad habit of mine. I never look at the menu. I do look at the menu. I just failed to look at it before I start these things. Is grab the cowboy steak and have this wine. Because it's got enough structure, enough tannins, and the acidity is key to really pair with that dish. So let's get into it. Oh, beautiful. Spice, florals, a little bit of red fruit, but it's really all about that floral aromatic with Nebbiolo. That is gorgeous. Great tannins up front, but all throughout. I would call these very velvety. They are not punch you in the face tannins, but they are certainly there. The acidity is incredible. And look at that color. I mean, that is a beautiful, beautiful colored Nebbiolo. Really delicious. And a great way to end this week's flight. All right. Again, let's do the roundup real quick. This week on the flights at Second Glass, which start tomorrow, Wednesday. Today's Tuesday, the last I checked. Argiolas, their Vermentino di Sardinia, Costa Molina bottling. Following into Ioppa, their Nebbiolo Rosé, the Rosato Rusin. And on that really lovely high note, Baio, Barbaresco Autinbej. Thank you guys for tuning in. Enjoy. Be safe. Get out there. Take your friends. Take your spouse. Take your kids. Go to dinner. Grab some flights. And I will see you next week.